Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
One of the greatest films of all time, from 2001, A Space Odyssey, to The Shining, to Dr. Strangelove and Full Metal Jacket, and so many more. Filmmaker Stanley Kubrick made 13 of the most influential and groundbreaking films over a half-century. Often described as a mad recluse, but a new book is sharing a different view. Kubrick and Odyssey is the first full-length biography in more than 20 years, based on new interviews with family and colleagues, written by Nathan Abrams, film professor at Bangor University in Wales, and Robert Kolker, a professor who taught cinema studies at University of Maryland. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to you in Wales. That's right. Explain to me why there hasn't been so much more written about one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. That's a little bit amazing to me.
There's been a great deal, in fact, written by scholars, and the internet is just full of conspiracy theories and readings of codes and secret messages in Kubrick's films. Biography was hard to come to because it was only recently that the archives were available to the public. And so we took advantage of that and were able to do research and find out things that hadn't been written about before.
So Nathan, what did the biography from 20 years ago miss or get wrong?
Well, it was written back in 1997, so it missed out Eyes Wide Shut in 1999 for starters. And, well, there were two biographies 20 years ago, one a bit more lurid than the other. And but the other thing is they didn't have access to the archives, and they didn't have an opportunity to watch the final film and to give an opinion of it. And also, it was written pretty much while Kubrick was still alive, so we were able to take a step back 25 years later now to really take an overview and be a bit more detached than when Kubrick was alive.
So what kind of stuff did you learn that people would be interested that they might not expect?
Well, we learned that he was not a mad recluse, that he was an artist who very much enjoyed his privacy, that he was a family man, that he loved his pets, his many, many, many cats and dogs, and that he liked his quiet and seclusion. He was also a very social man. He always saw people. He invited people to his house, went to other people's houses. He lived a normal life. It was just not a public life.
So he is also known as the ultimate perfectionist in making films, which can be difficult on the people working around you. Did you find that to be true in the work, the research that you've done?
Definitely. I mean, Kubrick expected everyone to be as devoted to his films as he was, and he expected them to work 25-hour days, 8 days a week, and was disappointed when perhaps they didn't show the same energy and commitment to the film as he did. And he wanted to get everything right. And hence the legend of the multiple takes. He thought, well, I've got the actors in front of me, I've paid for them. I might as well see what I can get out of them before I edit the movie.
Robert, it seems that he took 26,000 photos for Look magazine, and made me think that that might be a foundation or an inspiration for his work. Tell me about his eye. What did he see, or how did he see things that was different than other directors?
He had an eye for composition, unlike any other filmmaker. He saw the world clearly, but a little off kilter. There was always something more in the frame of a Kubrick film than is apparent in the films of any other filmmaker. He saw deeply, and he saw with a great deal of perfection, so that every image, every frame of the film is filled with information and filmed with attractive images. So you get a kind of double play. You see something that is immediately attractive and interesting and exciting, but also full of meaning. He never just took an ordinary image. He always made an extraordinary image.
As you're describing him, I'm thinking of Christopher Nolan, who just won an Academy Award for Best Director, and the kinds of movies that he made. Do you think that's a good comparison? I wonder if both of you have favorite Stanley Kubrick films.
I'll come in there. I mean, my favorite's Dr. Strangelove. And to answer your second question, I don't think he bears comparison for two reasons. What marks Kubrick's films out are usually some kind of technological innovation, but also the ideas. We're discussing his films years and years later. They still hold up. There's a lot of research into each film. We can debate what 2001 means and what the ending is about. I think the closest person currently filming, well, there's two, Darren Aronofsky, but possibly Jonathan Glazer, particularly after The Zone of Interest.
It's interesting that I remember studying these movies, and you take a random film class in college, like 100 level, and you have to watch the Kubrick films. I didn't realize obviously they're all critically acclaimed now, but were they critically acclaimed when they first came out, and they weren't all commercial successes?
Not always. This was a constant source of frustration to Kubrick, that his films were not immediately recognized for what they were. But he was aware that ultimately they would be. He had a very strong sense of what he was doing, and of the fact that the more the films were seen, the more they were talked about, the more they were written about, the more they would be appreciated.
Well, it's fascinating. The book is Kubrick and Odyssey. You can follow Nathan on X and find Robert on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.